What's that out there, partner?
Buck Boost! Buck Boost! I think it's a cosmic monster!
What's it doing out there, space cowboy?
Sure looks like a cosmic monster!
Is it heading our way? I wonder where it's going. I guess we'll find out.
Yes, you will find out. This is Mission Control speaking. And we want to let you know that this cosmic monster is heading right towards the International Space Station Earth. And this is happening because the nature shield around the International Space Station Earth has weakened to the point where it is now attracting this cosmic monster.
Hey, Mission Control. That's really bad news. Is there anything that Space Cowboy and I can do to keep this cosmic monster from hitting the International Space Station Earth?
As a matter of fact, there is. You can create a television show called the California Space Cowboy and beam kids aboard your show aboard a nature throne I'm about to supply to you from the land of ancient Egypt. The more kids you beam aboard your show, the stronger will become the nature shield around the International Space Station Earth. And then, very soon, not even a cosmic monster will be able to get through the nature shield.
And now, I'd like to give you a glimpse of the future and show you what I would like the California Space Cowboy TV show to look like in the studio.
Do you have any questions? If not, then please get busy. Beam those kids aboard. Build up that nature shield and save the International Space Station Earth.
I come from Santa Barbara, California.
Get comfortable now in your rocket seat and come along with us. We're leaving planet Earth right now aboard our rocket bus. Space Cowboy's here, so's his crew from International Space Station Earth. Traveling light years all the time while standing on his turf. Along the journey much to see, collapsing space and time. No dangers here in this dimension, no hate, no death, no crime. We go anywhere we want to go. We think and we are there, striving for balance in all we do, and no need at all for fear.
Hello again, this is Mission Control speaking. Hey Buck Boost, here's the nature throne so you and Space Cowboy can beam aboard those special visitors who will save the International Space Station Earth.
Wow, this thing really works. It's always fun to beam aboard on the nature throne. I'd sure like to ride it sometime myself. Well, we've got work to do now. We've got to save that International Space Station Earth.
Yeehaw! Space Cow folks out there on that range of change. Now we have Cynthia. And Cynthia is going to tell us a little bit about herself. She's going to look right over there at Buck Boost and tell us what's going on. Cynthia, what encouraged you to come on in here, and what are we going to do right now? Come on, girl power. You're the captain of your ship here. So why don't we just select something of interest here, and let's ask Space Cowboy what's going on here on the table. Our rocket garden. You know, we already talked a little bit about this, but you can ask about that. You can do whatever. Just point to whichever one you want. That's all you need to do, Cynthia. Oh, the moon rocket. The moon rocket. All 7.5 million pounds of thrust. Let me just show you what this rocket did for us. Okay, well, just picture you're saddled up in this command module right here. Okay. Ignition sequence, go! Do you think this moon rocket was just kidding? It was? What would happen if it took off and said, oops, I'm just kidding? What would happen? Cloud! We have a mushroom cloud rising up on the horizon. That's what would happen if it said I was just kidding. But we're fortunate because it wasn't kidding. And it took lots of people into space. This is the most powerful rocket ever built. This is actually the most powerful tool ever built. This was just about as powerful as building the pyramid. This is a modern day flying pyramid, is what this is, as far as work. That's how much work. You bet, it took a lot of work. 3 million moving parts, Cynthia. See how we worked that? So it took us to the moon. And the moon, it's not that far away. It's only 239,000 miles away. However, it wasn't easy getting there, was it? See? And that's because you have to build this big monster, 363 feet tall. Okay, 95% of this vehicle, 90 to 95% of this vehicle right here, fuel. So guess what time it is now, Cynthia? The Kaha. Yeehaw. So let's just get this Kaha open. Yeehaw. And our thought experiment? Upward and onward. Just like what we're doing with our moon rocket. And we're not kidding, are we, Cynthia? We're real-time girl power. Yeehaw! Upward and onward. And that's what we do with this muscle right here. It's upward and onward. And bang, before you know it, we're on the Disneyland, into the Disneyland, on the moon. That's what you're going to be seeing. They already have the floor plan all sketched out. Disneyland on the moon. And you know what's so exciting about that, folks? It's not like Anaheim or Orlando. They issue you wings and you fly to the next ride. That's how you get to the next ride. You don't have to walk and stand in line anymore. You fly to the next ride. Like Superman, like Supergirl. See how we work that? Well, congratulations, young lady. Thanks for coming on up and stepping up to the plate. Yee-haw. Good job, Cynthia.
Yee-haw, Space Cowboy!
Buck Boost.
Here we are again!
Back on the trail.
But look at the planet we're visiting.
Isn't that incredible? That's Starship Earth.
It sure is.
And that's the Hubble Space Telescope right there.
Starship Earth back in the years in the 1900s and 2000s.
That's when
Long time ago.
that space shuttle, I believe it was the name Discovery, put that up in there.
Interesting. Still in orbit.
That's right.
But you know, it's kind of a shame how they let it die in orbit. They could have fixed it. They got a little gun shy.
Well, they had that James Webb Telescope coming online that was a lot bigger and a lot farther out.
Yep. I don't remember if that ever got where they wanted it to go. He just kind of left this one out to pasture.
Yeehaw.
They got barn sour for the universe.
Well, you know it's hard out there where there's no atmosphere. You take some heat and you take some cold, because when we're in the sun, we're burning up, and when we're in the shade, we're freezing cold.
It's amazing. Goes from plus 200 to minus 200 instantly.
Yeah, you bet, you bet.
That's a fast ride on the thermometer scale. Man, that telescope had to withstand all that kind of environment.
Yes, sir. And remember,
Just like us.
They kind of got into composites, because the composites, they didn't expand and contract so much as the aluminum and all that other stuff. That's how they figured it out, was through space exploration.
It was a good idea.
Yes, sir.
Man, boy, you know all the stuff that was going on down in the earth when this picture was taken. It's amazing they got through it all.
Yeah, they still had pilots, and they still had people driving cars, and they still had people working.
Working.
Yeah, working the jobs and then the machines took over, but the people had jobs building the machines and designing the machines and selling the machines and servicing the machines, and the list just goes on, because the folks that realized that chance favors a prepared mind, they made out.
Interesting. So that's kind of a machine world down there, huh, partner?
Well, machines are a lot better suited for a lot of different missions. There's nothing greater, as we well know, than the human resource. There's nothing more powerful than the human brain. That's the greatest scientific tool known.
How about the horse brain, partner? These horses sure know where to go when they take us around the universe.
It's amazing that we would saddle up on an animal that spent its entire life trying to kill itself, Buck Booth.
By eating all them protons all the time.
You know, just don't let them get barn sour, Buck Booth.
I'm not
You'll
even,
wake up on the side of the road.
wonder if they even know where their barns are.
Not anymore with these horses. They become disoriented because they're so busy falling down, falling all around.
And you know, on that Hubble Space Telescope in that picture, you see that big door that's open on the front?
You betcha.
You know what they call that?
What do they call that, Buck Booth?
The barn door.
The barn door.
How about that?
Yeehaw.
Let's just hope our horses don't decide to go climbing on in there with us aboard.
You know, that's what they used to call these big halibut up there off of Alaska, too. They call them barn door halibut.
Barn door halibut.
Yeah, big old, big fish.
Huh, interesting.
Bottom feeder, partner.
Bottom feeder. We're bottom feeders too.
Yeehaw.
And the horses too.
Anything that happens in our feeding lane, Buck Booth, can and will be processed.
But you know, out here I haven't seen much roadkill.
No, there's not much out here, because remember, when you're in the light, you're burning up, and when you're in the frost, or when you're in the darkness, when you're in the shadows, it's cold.
It's
Real
cold, partner. Cold riding out here.
Yeehaw.
Even with that bright sun.
Well, that sun is just showering us with nice little protons.
Well, I guess it's time for us to go our separate ways again here, Space Cowboy.
Safety first, Buck Booth.
Safety first, wear your seatbelt. Make sure them airbags work on the horses.
Yeehaw.
So when a comet comes our way, we gotta be ready.
And we're gonna lasso that comet and use it as a spaceship.
Yeehaw. And that'll be on a future show.
Yeehaw.
Over and out.
Wrapping it up, December 17th, 2003. And they tried to fly the Wright Flyer twice, this replica, and unfortunately there wasn't enough wind.
Space Cowboy
Yeehaw,
and Buck
Buck
Boost
Boost.
in the same picture without my hat.
And look at our,
Wear this one.
we have some new signatures here. We have, look at this, Scott Crossfield, Mach 2 Buster. Okay, Chuck Yeager was number 1, Scott Crossfield was number 2. So he's the one that got these guys trained to fly. Unfortunately, the wind wasn't right, so they attempted twice. We even had the Wright family. There were some, Emily and Stephen Wright were here, and there was a Lindbergh here, and there was Hilton's here. And so they tried to get this thing going. Forbes was here, and they tried to get her going, but everything was all systems go. It was just the wind. They didn't have enough RPMs for the wind. So the first try, they got up for about 3 feet at the most. and it went off the end of the skid, and then it went into the dirt. And then the next try, they fired up the engines, but the wind wasn't right. It was only 3 knots. They need 10 knot minimum wind, so they had to scrub it. But we'll see you the next 100 years, because I know a lot of you will be here for the next 100 years of flight. And not only did we just celebrate the first 100 years of flight, but we've begun the next 100 years of flight. So, yee-haw, Space Cow folks out there on the range. Just make it happen like the Wright brothers did. See, a lot of people didn't think they could make it happen, but they pushed and they made it happen. So when the dreamers believe the dream, and then they're able to achieve the impossible. Yee-haw! And thank you for riding the range with Buck Boost and Space Cowboy. And we love you, folks. Yee-haw! This historic date. Well, no, I like this. I just love the argument. Am I illiterate? I hope not. I'm in the classroom.
You know, Scott, I'll call you in a few days.
John Frank, he's our guy in Santa Maria. Let's get her ready for December 17th. Can I borrow your pen? Thank you.
Yeah.
But it did, really, when you think about it. Yeah, you sure may.
I'm an old friend of Jack. Yeah.
Show us your hat, Scott.
Son Charlie.
How about that? Wright Flyer.
Yeah, he and Neil.
12/17/2003. And now stand by for the NASA retro video. Yee-haw!
This animation shows how scientists believed the huge crater Tycho was formed on the moon, a crater 54 miles wide. A series of picture-taking Ranger spacecraft slammed into the moon. Then, 5 lunar orbiters photographed over 90% of the moon's surface, including the never-before-seen backside. We saw a glimpse, too, of our own planet from lunar distance. But most important of all, it made possible the selection of landing sites. Six Surveyor spacecraft made soft landings on the moon over a 2-year period. A robot arm dug a trench. Lunar soil was like wet sand. Men and equipment could safely land there. Panoramic views like these were assembled from hundreds of individual photographs. Communications via satellite exploded into a whole new industry. That first live intercontinental transmission by Telstar 1 was just the start.
La chansonnette après l'été.
Relay, designed to transmit television, telephone, and high-speed data. Syncom, with Olympic coverage from Tokyo, and Early Bird 1, all were follow-ons to previous research and development.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take it or not.
Because of the following special 1-hour broadcast, programs previously scheduled at this time will not be seen.
Since rendezvous, docking, and having astronauts work outside the spacecraft were critical to lunar missions, NASA began Project Gemini. Using the Mercury capsule as a model, the Gemini spacecraft was enlarged to hold a 2-man crew.
Gemini would provide design answers for the upcoming Project Apollo. And who could ever forget that spectacular first walk in space made by astronaut Ed White? Ten times pairs of astronauts flew into orbit, walking in space, rendezvousing and docking. Gemini had blazed a trail for Project Apollo, the three-man spacecraft that would carry astronauts to the moon. More than 8 years were poured into designing, building, testing, and preparing astronauts, rockets, and spacecraft for the first lunar landing. Here's a visual look back at some of that preparation. In 1967, tragedy struck.
Hey, this is old Buck Boost here, and I want to let you know that I am really enthused about the exciting results happening from the girls and boys who have appeared on the California Space Cowboy TV show. Not only are these young adults performing the critical task of building up the nature shield, but I have also been informed by their teachers that many of them are gaining new self-confidence skills from appearing on television, and they are also developing an increased new interest in the wonders of science. As a result, these new science enthusiasts probably have a head start in life that may reward them for the rest of their lives. So, if you or anyone you know would like the experience of being on the California Space Cowboy TV show, give old Space Cowboy a call at the Endeavor Center. Area code 805-734-1747. He will be happy to talk to you about appearing on a future show. While I'm on the subject of the Endeavor Center, I would like to invite you to visit the Endeavor Center, which is located near Vandenberg Air Force Base, here in California. For specific information about the Endeavor Center's inspirational space and science programs, take a look at their website at www.endeavorcenter.com. EndeavorWars.org. Well, you take care now. This is old Buck Booth saying, over and out.
Figure out your special mission as we reach beyond the stars. Imagination will take you there as your vision soars with ours. Many dimensions travel today, our journey goes on forever. Horizons joined across the miles, imagination is our tether. Space Cowboy's been there long before, he lives beyond the stars. Breakfast on Pluto, lunch on Mars, no distance is too far. You can always come along as we travel past the sun. But always, always keep in mind, Space Cowboy is not for everyone.
Oh! We are Americans and we are responsible. Yeehaw! Yeehaw! Right.